How's it going today, everybody? My name is Greg, and my passion is to improve your life. Hey, today I just want to mention some spiritual concepts. And so I'm going to say it like this. This is Spirituality 101, folks. And I've learned all this stuff for over a decade from some very great spiritual teachers who were not pushy, who allowed me to discover and find these things out myself. This is kind of coming off the inspiration from some videos I just watched of people who are 90 years old or 100 years old, and they're on their deathbeds and they've had a pretty good life, but they're talking about the only few things they regret. They wish they could go back. The first one is usually with all of them where the emotions mean the most. It's the most emotional thing to them that they are trying to tell people, please don't take this for granted, is the few people that passed through their life that maybe they had a falling out with and they wish they could go back and change that. Some of them, it was a relationship or a love, and they screwed up really bad, or they chose something else over that person. Or at the time, they didn't realize how important that person was. But in hindsight, they would give anything to go back and change that path and hang out with that person that day, or tell them they love them that day. And you have the more courage to speak how they feel about them, or just to value them more. And they lost them, and they were just totally distraught over it. I mean, out of all the things they experienced before they left the earth, that was it. And what I'd like you to do today, because I know sometimes we get in relationships or friendships or even in the workplace and with people that we see more often that we do value. And by our own free will and choice, we like them and we, either adore them or love them, or just we think they're very good people and they're very important in our life by getting to know them. And just imagine today in the sense of, I'm going to be honest with you guys, this is really a good perspective, and I think it's a beautiful way to look at it. Imagine losing them. I know we get tired of them at times when we're around them a lot, but imagine losing them. Imagine never being able to see them again. Imagine if that was actually your reality today, like these older people are talking about. And imagine just losing them, And maybe take some time and perspective to think about that and maybe make the adjustments to, if you're not showing enough value to that person and how you feel about them, have the courage to go do it, or, just make an adjustment on it. So take a moment, I think, is a great suggestion to look at the people who you truly value, even if you get irritated with them or they're around a lot, the ones that you do by your own choice truly value, and reassess that and look at that. And I think going back to service, especially if that person's of service for you. So I've had to look at a few people in my life and kind of, analyze that today. The second thing I don't want people to regret and miss out on is some kind of spirituality. And for me, I had a kind of a weird religion that I was raised in. It was uncomfortable. I was kind of embarrassed about it to friends when I meet them and bring them home. And it was good people in my church, but they were all good. I didn't have anything too crazy happen, but it was a very strange religion. It was a separate branch of Christianity and made me very uncomfortable. And as I grew up, I think it kept me away from any kind of thought or following towards a higher power or a God of anything. And what I learned through spiritual teachings, the first thing is that there's other things that translate to being a God in our life. It's what we focus on. It's what is usually in an unhealthy way, rolling through our head. Like, imagine how many times you've had like a fear in the morning or throughout the day about money or something working out, or constantly worried about something that's going to be coming up, or working out in a relationship, or working out with a job. So just fears alone, some of us more than others, that roll through our head to an unhealthy level is a God, or something in a way we worship. I learned through spiritual teachers that worshiping something is what we focus on all the time. It's not about religion. So we already kind of have gods. And sometimes it is a person that we have in our mind all the time who we know probably isn't healthy for us and we can't get away from them. Or maybe you were in an abusive relationship or a bad friendship, and that person was in your head all the time and you probably weren't as much in theirs. That was somebody that was a higher power already. So I think there's a lot of powers greater than ourselves that we already have in our life. May it be drugs, alcohol, food, gambling, sex addiction. Those are things too that when we get people that have addictions, they're almost a higher power. They're almost a God. And the focus that we put on them is almost worshiping, if you really look at it that way. So the first thing I got with spirituality was learning how to put a new definition on things with what was actually going on. And I just want people to have a chance to, maybe it'll be the universe, maybe it'll be the energy field, maybe it'll be your love for your kids or your love for your friends or a group of people that the power there is greater than you alone. But all of the great leaders, even back to kings and queens from old days, were told that in order to have true peace and to have some kind of new enlightenment, they had to find a power greater than themselves. So that may end up being some kind of new open-mindedness to a higher power or a God that you pray to. It might not. It might just be the universe and some of the meditation I've shown, and feeling more centered and connecting to something that you know is there. It's bigger. But I truly do love everybody, and I want you guys to have good things, and I want to improve your life, and because I've had these things improve my life. So I hope that today you can look at this and take an open mind to spiritual concepts, not religious, and know that you have your own free will and you can choose any kind of higher power that you want that works for you. Nobody can tell you that but you. And I don't want you to become 90 years old or 100 years old and be on your deathbed one day and kind of look back and have the open-mindedness then to say, man, I wish I had it back then. And I also don't want you to sit there then and have a regret forever that you lost somebody, or that you didn't value somebody enough, or show them that you loved them. You know, go find them today if you can, and give them a big hug or whatever it is, you know, and let them know how much you care. Because sometimes we get a little bottled up and we get in our own worlds and we get selfish. I know I do. And it's hard for me to show it. And I don't want to lose anybody. I don't want to be that person I listened to in a video today. That's what I got today for Spirituality 101, guys. And I hope that you have a blessed, centered day.